All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, Live Green and Save Green, Energy Programs that Save Money on the Planet. I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon and hope that you enjoy our hour-long presentation that we have for you. Today we have two guest speakers on the line. We have Jackie Falconio with the County of San Mateo, as well as Kirsten Andrew Schwind with Peninsula Clean Energy. And I'll share a little bit more about them as they come online to do their part of the presentation. Okay, well, I am going to hand it over to Insoo Lim with the Office of Sustainability and the Sustainability Academy, and she's going to share a bit more about the Academy programs.
Hi everybody, my name is Insoo Lim and I'm a Sustainability Coordinator at the County of San Mateo's Office of Sustainability. And thank you everyone for joining us during your lunchtime. We have some great information planned out to share with you all today in the next hour. So the Sustainability Academy is part of the County of San Mateo's Office of Sustainability, OOS, and the Academy used to be a program under Recycle Works, a separate division within the Department of Public Works, but it merged with the county's Office of Sustainability about 2 years back in July 2014 when the OOS was established. And the OOS's overall objective is to basically promote sustainability in the county through the planning, development, and the implementation of many different types of programs. And as you see on this slide, we provide our programs through our 4 work groups: energy and environment, climate change, water waste reduction, and livable communities. And for those who are interested, the Sustainability Academy falls under the climate change work group. Next slide, please. So through the Academy, OOS is offering no-cost sustainability educational opportunities to you, the members of the County of San Mateo. And the Academy's goal is to raise awareness around sustainability and to really empower you all, our community members, with the knowledge and the right skills to help you promote resource conservation in your communities. And we provide, next slide please. And we provide our community members with many different types of offerings, as you see on the slide. For instance, we have an 8-week master course. We actually just started the 8-week master course yesterday. It talks about all different types of sustainability topics. We also have a webinar series, including this one on energy. We have 3 more lined up for this program year. The next one is on sea level rise in March, water later in April, and transportation webinar in May. We also have workshops that we have planned out for this program year, including one on sea level rise, green homes, green building, green business certification, and a number of home compost workshops. So we'll have some additional information about all those offerings on the Academy website, and please feel free to also give me a reach out to me to get additional information. My contact information is going to be on the last slide of this PowerPoint, which will email out to everyone in the next couple of days. Next slide, please. As for the Academy team here in OOS, Hillary Pappendick, she provides high-level oversight and direction for the program. And that's me on the right. I manage the day-to-day operations of the Academy. And we also have, we're also working very closely with Cascadia Consulting Group and their team, including Judy here, who is facilitating this webinar, to provide the Academy offerings to all our county community members. And our team is working really hard to make sure that our community members have the opportunity to take full advantage of this great county program. And back to you, Judy.
All right, thanks, Insoo. Okay, great. Well, we are going to go ahead and get started with the first of our guest presenters. So joining us first is going to be Jackie Falconio. She's a resource conservation specialist with the County of San Mateo. She graduated from Sonoma State University, where she double majored in energy management design and economics. She focused her studies on the design and practices of energy efficient buildings while directing her electives towards local government urban planning. She interned at a local nonprofit agency, which was the Solar Sonoma County, and worked at Tesla as a product specialist to assist opening a new store in Marin. She's now working for the San Mateo County Energy Watch, spearheading their zero net energy initiatives in the county by providing trainings and developing a countywide strategic plan. She also assists local school districts to utilize their state funding for energy efficiency projects. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, Jackie.
Hi, Judy. Thanks. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. So the first piece of our presentation that I wanted to hit on with energy is who provides our energy? Where does our energy come from? We're also going to be covering, if you could go to, yeah, there we go. Who provides our energy? Where does our energy come from? What does that look like in San Mateo County? And then looking at energy efficiency with buildings and our behavior and what resources we can offer you from the county. Next slide. So really in San Mateo County we have two entities that provide our energy. PG&E, everybody kind of has an idea about, and then Peninsula Clean Energy now is generating our electricity. So this graph at the bottom, you'll see a couple times, but Peninsula Clean Energy generates renewable energy, and then PG&E transports that energy to our buildings in San Mateo County. Next slide. So PG&E is what we call an investor-owned utility and a service provider. They're regulated by the California Public Utilities Commission. They're investor-owned utilities across the state, but PG&E has the largest territory in California. Their goal is to provide safe, reliable energy at a reasonable price. And they not only generate their own energy, but they also own the distribution infrastructure in their territory. Next slide. So this is a snapshot of the energy portfolio at PG&E. This was from 2014, but it's the most recent public data that we have. So they have a fairly carbon-free or low carbon energy usage or energy generation across the country, but they focus on hydro and nuclear, and they have goals set by the CPUC of how much their portfolio must be renewable. So their first goal is to be 33% of their portfolio be renewable by 2020, which they are on track to meet, and their most recent goal is to be 50% renewable by 2030. Next slide. Peninsula Clean Energy, I'm going to do a broad overview here, and we're going to have an expert come on after my presentation, but they're a locally controlled community organization that generates renewable energy to our community through PG&E's delivery infrastructure. Their energy is produced mostly in California, Oregon, and Washington through renewable sources. Next slide. And there's three different levels here. PG&E is about 30% renewables at this point. Peninsula Clean Energy, their base Eco Plus service is 50% renewable, and then you can also opt up to their Eco 100, which is 100% renewable. Next slide. So energy efficiency, that's really where we come into this. And what exactly is energy efficiency? It's the idea that you're using less energy to provide the same service. Energy efficiency does not mean you have to lose anything in your day-to-day life. It's just doing it more efficiently and doing it with less resources being put into. Next slide. So in California, energy efficiency is actually the #1 way that we will be supplying future demand in California. That's been set by the CPUC, and being that California is such a high state for immigration into our state, our population is growing exponentially. So we really need to have a better idea of how we're going to meet that future demand of electricity. So energy efficiency is our first goal. Then we want to supplement with renewables and distributed generation. And then as a last resort, we want to move is fossil fuel generation, which we try and avoid as much as possible. Next slide. So in California, we have some really great policies that are coming from the state on how to lower our energy usage and also our greenhouse gas emissions reductions, which is a byproduct of generating energy. So we have AB 32, which is our Global Warming Solutions Act. This act requires that California reduce its greenhouse gas emissions to 80% below 1990 levels by 2050. We also require that a renewable portfolio standard for all utilities in California, where their energy mix must be 50% renewable by 2030. And in California, roughly 75% of our energy usage comes from our buildings. And so we have very strict building codes coming down the line in California, which is called Title 24, and there's an entire section of this code that identifies how energy efficient a building must be. And so in 2020, all new homes that are built must be built to zero net energy, which I'll go into further later in the presentation. And then all new commercial buildings must be zero net energy by 2030. So these are some really strict regulations that are coming down the pipeline here in California. Next slide. So California is kind of the poster child for energy efficiency, and it's really worked for the state in the last 30 years. So you can see in roughly 1975, California started enacting strict energy efficiency regulations in our building code as well as state goals for our energy production. And while our per capita, our population in California has grown substantially, almost doubled since 1975, our energy use per capita has stayed the same, roughly the same, over the last 30 years. And that's pretty impressive, saying, you know, now everybody has cell phones and computers and TVs and video games that didn't exist in 1975. So the amount of things that we're plugging in has drastically increased, but our energy use per person has stayed roughly the same. So energy efficiency really does work in California. And you can see that blue line, that's the rest of the nation, and how their energy use per capita has about doubled in the same time period. Next slide. And the state provides quite a bit of funding for energy efficiency throughout the state. So on your PG&E bill, you will see a small charge, with very few cents most of the time, for a public goods charge. And what that does is that goes to the California Public Utilities Commission, and they divvy it out to the investor-owned utilities specifically for energy efficiency programs. All investor-owned utilities have to provide energy efficiency programs that can include rebates or auditing or new fixtures. It's a whole slew of different options. But so the investor-owned utilities use that fund and provide these energy efficiency programs to the different sectors. They have programs for commercial, residential, industrial, and agricultural customers, and it is really customized to that customer's type of equipment or energy usage. And they also have, we'll go back real quick, the PG&E has strict savings goals that they have to meet each year for the California Public Utilities Commission. Next slide. I guess I kind of, a utility company will encourage you to practice energy efficiency to your fault.
And then we had a question, Jackie, I don't know if you want to answer it while we're waiting for people to finish voting. Somebody wanted you to explain what GHG meant, the slide that had the PCE and the PGE, the differences that had GHG under it. You want to explain that part?
Yeah, so GHG stands for greenhouse gas emissions, and that's basically how much of these gases are being released into our atmosphere to generate that type of energy. So you're going to have higher greenhouse gas emissions on things like fossil fueled energy or power plants versus solar, which is greenhouse gas emission free. So their portfolios and those percentages represent how much emissions that energy portfolio is emitting each year.
Great. All right, thank you.
Great.
And so the answer, we had actually 100% of the audience say true, which was
good.
the correct response. Yeah.
Yes, it's the correct response, and we do try to have people understand that, because most of the common conceptions of PG&E is that they charge you for energy, so they want you to use energy. That's not the case with PG&E. They're what we call a decoupled utility. So the amount of their profit is regulated by the California Public Utilities Commission, and it allows PG&E to get its profits that are separated from the amount of gas and electricity they sell. So it doesn't, PG&E's profits do not depend on how much energy they sell per se. They have really no reason to encourage customers to use more. That's because they have to provide energy consistently all the time, and if we're starting to use more and more energy, they have to turn on more power plants or build new power plants, and that's billions of extra dollars that they have to pay to provide that energy. So they are incentivized as well for us all to use less energy. Next slide. So energy usage. When we talk about energy, and we're talking about electricity and natural gas. So really, I think I have it in the next slide. There we go. Okay. So in a house, there's different types of uses for natural gas versus electricity. What was the next question? So natural gas covers things like your water heater, your furnace, sometimes your dryers. There are certain dryers that are used for natural gas. Also, if you have a gas stove, that would be natural gas. And then electricity covers pretty much everything else. Anything that's plugged in, any outlet, that's going to be from electricity generated at a plant. Next slide. I think we've got a question here. So in San Mateo County, which type of energy do you think is used more in San Mateo County, natural gas or electricity?
2/3 say electricity and 1/3 say natural gas.
Okay, so if we go to the next slide, we'll see that San Mateo County actually uses quite a bit more natural gas than they use of electricity. It's about 61% of our energy use is natural gas, and about 39% is from electricity, especially in the residential side of things. And the reason behind that is pretty much our weather in San Mateo County. We don't have any need for air conditioning 99% of the time. So, but we do have a milder climate. So people are more likely to turn their heater on than they would be an air conditioner. And most of our natural gas consumption is from our furnaces and our hot water. So that would be the main reason why in San Mateo County we use more natural gas, whereas in the Central Valley, say, their electricity use is double what their natural gas is because they use air conditioners all the time. Next slide. So what exactly does an energy efficient building look like? So this is kind of an idea or a drawing that hits quite a few of the top energy efficiency building tactics. First, before you even think about what you're putting in the building, you need to design your building to be energy efficient. So if it's a new construction building, we like to orient the building in a way that we can use natural phenomenon for heating and cooling. So putting your windows where the sun is going to hit to warm the areas when the sun is there, to locate areas for ventilation where the wind can go through your building and your building's not blocking the wind. Using your natural environment before you even try and use equipment. It's also things like improved insulation and special windows that are either triple paned or they have a special film that reflects sunlight if it's a hot area. Then once you've got the shell of your building, then you can start focusing on efficient equipment that you're putting into your building. So that would be efficient HVAC systems, high efficiency that are on timers and regulators so that they're not running all the time. They're only running when you really need them. Daylighting. So making sure that lights aren't turned on when you have the option for using natural daylight or occupancy sensors, things like that. So really the idea is to build the most efficient building you can before you even start talking about efficient equipment. Next slide. So zero net energy buildings are going to be required in California code for all new homes in 2020. And this is a lot of what I do here at the county. So we actually created a video, quick 1.5-minute video that I'd like to show you guys. It's kind of an overview of what zero net energy means.
Zero energy. It's the future of building. And by 2020, it'll be standard practice. Zero energy buildings use far less energy than typical ones, and they generate the amount of energy they do use through clean, renewable resources like solar power. Existing buildings have a host of shortcomings. Zero energy buildings are a quantum leap ahead of that. First, they're really comfortable. Second, they're designed for the long haul and reduce reliance on resources that pollute the environment. There's more attention to air quality than in traditional structures, and that's good for your health. Plus, the utility savings in zero energy projects are real. You still get a bill, but a much lower one. There are other financial benefits too. Zero energy operation can increase a building's sale price and bring in higher rents. And zero energy building professionals can expand their businesses and be at the front of a rapidly growing trend. How does zero energy work? It's all about using the same design elements you find in a traditional building in a much more thoughtful way. For example, you can make simple design choices that minimize the building's energy needs, like the shape of your building, how you situate it in relation to, and where you put windows for natural ventilation and lighting. You can also maximize the efficiency of everything that goes into the building. For example, you can make sure to properly install high-quality insulation. You can locate plumbing so pipes are short to reduce heat loss, and choose lighting, appliances, and electronics designed to deliver high performance. Zero energy buildings come in all styles and sizes, from single to multifamily, luxury to affordable, and contemporary to classic. So no matter what your taste or budget, you're still in business. Ready to learn more about zero energy? We're here to help. Check out the resources at our website.
Okay, so when we're talking about energy usage, there's really 3 main factors that affect your energy usage. There's your energy asset, which is basically your house or the building that your work is in, and how that is constructed. Then there's all the stuff that you plug in the building, all of your laptops and cell phones and TVs and pool pumps and video games, and there's a lot of things that get plugged in. But the third and almost most important is your behavior with all of these things. So if you go to the next slide. So what does energy efficient behavior look like? Pretty much anything that's plugged in, if you can figure out a way to have it plugged in less, or to have it set on a shadow setting, or a setting where it's not pulling as much. So turning down your thermostat or up a few degrees. A couple of degrees isn't going to make a huge difference, but over the course of a year, 1 to 2 degrees every day can make a huge impact. Turning off lights when they're not in use, turning your thermostat off when you're not at home, being aware of how many things are plugged in at one time, and plugging devices into a plug strip, which can be turned off really easily, and purchasing high-rated Energy Star equipment. I think we've got another question here coming up next. Yeah, okay, so which do you think would have reduced your energy usage more over the course of about a year? Replacing your 10-year-old side-by-side refrigerator, or unplugging your devices when they're not in use?
The responses were 75% of the attendees thought it would be replacing a 10-year-old side-by-side refrigerator, and 25% said unplugging devices.
Okay, so if we go to the next slide, I've outlined that actually it's more cost-effective and you use less energy by unplugging your devices or turning them off when they're not in use. So a refrigerator typically costs roughly about $2,000, and the difference between a 10-year-old refrigerator and a brand new Energy Star rated refrigerator, your annual savings will be about 262 kilowatt hours, which is roughly $34 over the course of a year. Now, if you address your what we call vampire loads, so that's things that are plugged in all the time, even your cell phone charger that you leave plugged in, even though it's not plugged into your phone all day, if you put those on power strips and we turn them off when we're not using them, we'll save roughly 444 kilowatt hours a year, which is almost $60, but it's free to install. We didn't have that upfront cost of $2,000. So if we go to the next slide, I'll cover a little bit about what vampire loads are. A vampire load is any device that consumes electricity when it's turned off but still plugged into an outlet. So when you turn off your TV or you aren't using your microwave, a good rule of thumb is anything that has a clock on it all the time, like your microwave, your stove, your TV, your cable box, all of that, that's what we call a vampire load, because we like things really convenient in our society, and so we want things to be able to turn on exactly when we press power. But that means that those machines need to be running a little bit of power all the time, ready for us to turn it on. So they're constantly pulling power out. Americans spend about $19 billion a year in electricity costs just for vampire loads. That's equivalent to about 50 large power plants. The energy of about 50 large power plants. So plugging everything into a power strip and being able to turn those on and off is a huge, huge way to save energy efficiency. It's low cost, and it's really just your behavior and how you are working with the things in your house. You can still use them, but still save a lot of money just by altering the way that you plug things in. We also have, I think on the next slide, we have some residential energy efficiency programs that are offered to residents in San Mateo County. So we have a program through PG&E and El Concilio, which is for low-income families in both multifamily and single-family units. And they'll come in and do an energy audit and help you replace some of your bulbs and look at your overall energy usage. We also have programs for moderate income as well as homeowners associations through our San Mateo County Energy Watch program. We offer turnkey lighting programs to do upgrades to LEDs. We also do that for small and medium-sized businesses in the county. And then through our BayREN program, which is our Bay Area Regional Energy Network, which is also run through the San Mateo County Office of Sustainability, we have single-family and multifamily programs that provide rebates for energy efficiency upgrades like windows and furnaces, new lighting, new appliances, insulation. They cover a host of different types of energy efficiency retrofits for your house. So we have a hotline, the number down there at the bottom of the slide, where you can call our office and tell them what you're looking for, and they can refer you to the correct program for your needs. I think that's the end of my program. Oh, here are some final resources. A RecycleWorks program, which is now being incorporated into the Office of Sustainability. The San Mateo County Energy Watch team, which is run the partnership between the City and County Association of Governments for San Mateo County and PG&E. We also have our BayREN team, and then you can, PG&E has their My Energy page where you can log on and look at your energy usage pretty easily. I think on the next slide, my contact information is there. So if you, there we go. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact me. If my program can't provide you any resources, I'm sure we can find some in our office that could help you. I'm be more than willing to help you out.
Great, thanks Jackie. And if you do have questions for Jackie, you can go ahead and raise your hand or type a question in the question box, and we'll make sure if we don't get to you right away, then at the next break we'll have another opportunity to speak with Jackie. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and switch our presenters. At this time, I want to welcome Kirsten Andrew Schwind. She's the Communications and Outreach Manager at Peninsula Clean Energy, also known as PCE. She previously served on PCE's Citizen Advisory Committee and has been advocating for community choice energy for the past 8 years. Kirsten previously co-founded and served as Director of Rooted in Resilience, formerly known as Bay Localize, where she focused on Bay Area climate mitigation and adaptation policy. So I want to go ahead and welcome Kirsten.
Thank you, Judy. Thanks for inviting me to this great webinar. So Peninsula Clean Energy is now San Mateo County's official electricity provider, providing cleaner and greener power at lower rates. And what does this mean? It means that if you're a resident of San Mateo County, you now have a choice of buying your electricity from PG&E or buying it from Peninsula Clean Energy and getting either 50% renewable energy or 100% renewable energy. And so it really means we have more choices. Go ahead and move on to the next slide. The benefits are reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, more renewable content and less carbon in our energy supply, greener choices at cheaper rates for the 50% renewable energy. And this is a locally controlled program that has the potential to invest in our community economically over the long run. So let me explain how community choice works. And Jackie touched on this a little bit a moment ago, but I'll go over it again. Peninsula Clean Energy goes out and buys electricity or generates electricity on your behalf. And then that electricity is then transported through PG&E's wires. So this is a partnership with PG&E. PG&E continues to maintain those wires. If your electricity goes out, like a tree falls on a wire, you'll call PG&E. They do all that. They also do the billing. And so you will still get, if you're a PCE customer, you'll still get electricity bill. Go ahead and move on. Yeah, so this is just a kind of a sum up. Again, with Peninsula Clean Energy Services, Peninsula Clean Energy purchases the power, PG&E does the transmission and maintains the lines and does the billing and customer service. And there are 5 CCA or Community Choice Energy programs already working. Marin Clean Energy was the first up in Marin County. They launched in about 2008 or so. Sonoma also has one. Lancaster in Southern California has one. San Francisco has Clean Power SF. And Peninsula Clean Energy actually launched in October. So we are currently serving 80,000 customers. So this means that your energy choices now are a couple of things. We offer 2 energy products, as I mentioned before. Eco Plus in that first column there is our default energy product, and we offer energy that is 5% cheaper than PG&E's, and I should say actually it's a 5% savings on your overall bill. Our electrical generation is actually less, has more savings than that, but then PG&E charges our customers an extra fee. But even when you account for the extra fee, you still have a 5% savings on your bill. So you can see down at the bottom row there the comparison and the average cost for our Eco Plus product as opposed to the PG&E product. At the same time, our Eco Plus customers are getting 50% renewable energy and 75% greenhouse gas-free energy. So that's where the environmental benefit comes in this program. And we also have the option that our customers can opt up to 100% renewable energy, and that just costs, for the average residential customer, about $2.50 more per month. So that's at 1 cent per kilowatt hour. And I actually live in the county. I live in Pacifica, and my husband and I, we opted in early and we opted up because our house is pretty shady. We're not in a good location for solar panels. And this was a way that we could invest in the renewable energy economy. And it really costs us less than half the price of a fancy cup of coffee a month. It's very affordable. Here we have a polling question. So which mix uses the highest percent of renewable energy? Eco Plus, Eco Plus Plus, PCE's Eco 100 or PG&E's standard mix.
So interestingly, we had 92% say the PCE Eco 100, and we had 8% say the Eco Plus Plus.
Yes, so great. It is the Eco 100, and the Eco Plus Plus is a little bit of a trick question. It's actually, our products are actually Eco Plus and Eco 100, but if we had an Eco Plus Plus, that would be kind of amazing. But we do have the Eco Plus, which is 50%, and Eco 100, which is the 100%. So why is PCE able to offer these savings on the electrical generation part of their bill? A part of it is that Pinnacle Clean Energy is a not-for-profit organization. It was actually launched by the County of San Mateo in a joint powers authority with all of its cities. This is the one political issue that received a unanimous vote of all the city council members of all the cities in San Mateo and the San Mateo County Board of Directors to join and form and launch this program together. So it is public sector, so we don't need to pay shareholders. We have low overhead expenses. We don't have a big fancy office, at least not at this point. And it's also just good timing to be purchasing long-term renewable contracts at low prices. So there's an element of market timing there too. So as I mentioned, you'll still, if you're a PCE customer, you'll still receive your PG&E bill because this is a partnership with PG&E. But your bill will look a little bit different in some ways. So I'm going to walk through this page 1 sample bill. Item number 1 at the top is your account number. And item number 2 is what PG&E charges every customer, whether you're a PG&E customer or a PCE customer. Actually, of course, when you're a PCE customer, you're still a PG&E customer for your gas and for your transmission. That's where they charge you for the electrical delivery. So that's the transmission, that's maintaining the lines. That's item number 2 there. And you may have noticed that this actually recently increased. PG&E had a great increase in their transmission charges, a somewhat significant one in the fall. So that's, you may have noticed that went up recently on your bill. Then item number 3 there is where PG&E used to charge for their electrical generation, but that line item has been changed out for PCE customers for Peninsula Clean Energy electric generation charges. So again, nobody's being double charged. That PG&E's line item goes out, PCE line item comes in, and that's the line item that's cheaper than, if for Eco 50 customers, than what PG&E's line item there would be. And then for the Eco 100 customers, it's again 1 penny per kilowatt hour more for 100% renewable energy. And then the line item 4 is, of course, the total cost. Go ahead, next slide. So as I mentioned, we actually launched with 20% of residential customers in October, and we are and small businesses as well, and we are enrolling 80% of our residential customers and large businesses this April for Earth Day. Next slide. So as I mentioned, we are enrolling our customers because according to the law that lets us start this program, it is an opt-out program. So everybody is automatically enrolled, and then you have the choice to remain with PG&E if you would like to, and that's called opting out. And it's easy to do. All you'd have to do is go to our website and do that online, or you can go to our call center and do that as well. So there is really a choice here. But all customers are automatically enrolled. PCE is now the default electricity provider for the county, and you can quickly opt out if you like. And all customers receive at least 4 notices in the mail, 2 before they're enrolled and 2 before after they're enrolled, letting them know how they can make this choice. Next slide. And this is what a enrollment notice will look like, or something more or less like this, with that nice artwork and so on. It'll be on the envelope as well. And so look for this in your mail. Next slide. So many things stay the same with Peninsula Clean Energy. If you're enrolled in a discount program like CARE or Medical Baseline, you'll automatically continue to receive that discount. And in fact, you will also receive the 5% savings on top of that discount if you're a PCE customer. The program is paid, this is good to know, it's paid for by revenues, not taxes. So our expenses for running the program are paid for by by you paying your bill, and so there's no new taxes for county residents. And you get the same service reliability that you did with PG&E because, of course, they're still maintaining your waters. Next slide. As I mentioned earlier, this is a program between the county and all the cities, and our board is made up of 2 county supervisors and an elected official, like a city council person from all 20 of the cities in San Mateo County. So you can look at this list, and if you live in our county, you can see who your local rep is, and if you have any policy recommendations, go ahead and contact them. As I said, the idea is that this is a local program that reflects our values here in San Mateo County. In fact, we will soon be recruiting for our Citizens Advisory Committee if you're interested in joining that. Next slide. Now, if you have solar on your roof, if you're a net metering customer, then PCE offers you 1 cent per kilowatt hour bonus for your net metering energy that you're selling back to the grid. And that is credited toward your bill on a monthly basis. Those credits roll over month to month. There's no zero out, and we'll have an annual cash out in April. Next slide. So here we have a question: how do net metering customers benefit from PCE?
Great. So this is an opportunity for you to type in a response in your question box. And while you guys are doing that, we actually had a question come up, and I'm not sure if it's for Jackie or for you, Kirsten, but I'll go ahead and read it off, and either one of you can go ahead and jump in there. So one of our attendees said that they work for Head Start, and they were wondering if there are programs or rebates to assist in getting the preschool facilities more energy efficient.
Yes. Yes. So that would be me. This is Jackie. Yes. Yes. Ours.
There. Sorry. Okay. I muted Kirsten. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, Kristen and I are in the same room. That would be the San Mateo County Energy Watch. We can often provide energy efficiency programs to either schools or to small businesses. So it would kind of depend on what your tax ID and things like that are, but we should be able to serve you with mostly lighting upgrades to LEDs, but we can look into other things as well.
Great. All right. Perfect. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to Kirsten while she finishes off her presentation. We didn't get any responses. Oh, wait. Let's see. We had, no, we didn't have any responses to the previous, which was just reinforcing the previous slide about what some of the benefits were. But I do have a number of questions coming through, so I'm going to let you finish, Kirsten, and then we'll have, we've got quite a few questions coming through that they'd like to ask you.
Okay, great. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you perfect.
Okay. Great. Let's make sure I'm back on. Yes, I'm so glad to be co-presenting with Jackie because energy efficiency is still absolutely the greenest form of power. So even if you're an Eco 100 customer, you know, it's not an excuse to go say, hey, I have 100% green energy. I'm going to leave all the lights on and leave my vampire light mode going and so on. Because even renewable energy still has some sort of, you know, environmental impact. So it's still the greenest energy is still the energy you don't use is the energy efficiency. So you should still, and I should say all PG customers, because you're still also a PG&E customer, you still qualify for all the PG&E energy efficiency programs. So you should still absolutely take advantage of those and apply for them and use them. There's no difference whether you're a PC customer or a PG&E customer. You should absolutely go take advantage of those because that is the greenest form of energy. Next slide. So as a recap, Pinnacle Clean Energy was started by San Mateo County and all of the cities to actually meet their greenhouse gas reduction goals. It offers cleaner energy for cheaper rates for Eco 100. For the Eco Plus, there's two products, the Eco Plus, which is 50% renewable and a 5% discount on your bill, and Eco 100, which is 100% renewable and costs 1 penny per kilowatt hour more. But you'll see Pinnacle Clean Energy buys the electricity, so you'll still get a PG&E bill. And all San Mateo County electricity customers will be enrolled by the end of April or early May for Earth Day. And if you take no option, you will be automatically enrolled in Eco Plus. And if you'd like to opt up Eco 100, you can easily do that with your PG&E customer number. You go to our website or you can call our service center and opt up to Eco 100. And I'd also like to note that I'm recruiting outreach volunteers to help get the word out about this program, because we're enrolling 220,000 customers in April, and we need to help get the word out at community events and next door and so on, make sure that people in the county have correct information. So please do contact me. I think my information is on the next slide. Please do contact me if you are interested in volunteering to help get the word about Pinnacle Clean Energy. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Kirsten. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and give you a few of the questions that have come through so you guys can start answering those, and then I'll switch back over. We have a few other ending slides before we finish. So let's see, we have a question that says, if a residential or business opt in for, it says for P, oh wait, looks like that got cut off, so I can't read the rest of that. Let's try this one. I am now the Half Moon Bay PCE board rep replacing Deborah Penrose. So I think that's somebody just sharing that they're on the line here. So I don't know.
Oh, I need to update that slide. Thank you so much.
Okay. And then we have another one that says net metering customers would benefit from PCE only if they did not generate 100% of the energy they use. And I don't know if that's a question or a statement.
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay. And then, okay, so back to if a residential or business opt in for the PCE, how soon will it go into effect?
Oh, if you opt in, yes, that's a really good question. So right now on our website, there is a button you can click for being an early adopter. So you can join right now. But I think that we're going to take the button off our website in a couple of weeks, because everyone is being enrolled automatically in April. So if you want to be an early adopter, grab your PG&E customer number and go enroll right now. Otherwise, you'll be automatically enrolled in a couple of months anyway.
Okay, great. All right, do we have any other questions? This is a great opportunity. I'm going to finish up a few of the slides on the webinar. So if you do have any other questions coming in, go ahead and either raise your hand or type those in now before I end the presentation. Again, here's Kirsten's contact information. We'll make sure to include both of the presenters' contact information as well as the handouts in a follow-up email. And use contact information if you have any other questions regarding the Academy or the presentation here today. Feel free to reach out to her, and she can get questions forwarded to the speakers as well. So let me check. We do have a few other comments coming through. Let me see what we had. All right, here we have another question that says, have any counties already implemented this program? And I think that was probably addressed to you, Kirsten.
Yes. So Marin County started this they were the first to start the program in California. Interestingly enough, the program was actually started in Ohio and in New England. But the first county in California to start it was Marin County. That was in about 2008. And then there was Sonoma County, San Francisco City and County, Lancaster in Southern California. Pretty soon, though, all the counties in the Bay Area will actually have community choice energy. Alameda County is in the middle of launching. Contra Costa County, Santa Clara County are all discussing it. I think Napa and Solano counties have gone in with Marin County. So yeah, Santa Cruz County is discussing it, so all the counties in the area are moving in that direction.
Great. All right, thank you. I don't see any other questions coming in at this time. With that, I would like to say thank you so much to Jackie, Kirsten, and Insoo for your presentations today. Really good information. And I wanted to say thank you to everybody else that joined us during their lunch. We hope that the webinar today provided you some really good information on how you can find out more information and participate in the programs offered through the county. So thanks so very much. We will go ahead and sign off and say have a great rest of your day. Take care.